Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Millionaire Insurance Producer Podcast. My name is Charles Specht. I am your host, and thank you for being with us today. I really appreciate that. I don't know if I've actually said enough about how appreciative I am that you actually tune in and listen. So thanks for letting my voice go into your earbuds, for actually being part of your Bluetooth in your car as you're driving to work, or that prospect getting ready to close the deal. I just want to say thanks. I'm glad to be here. I love talking to you about ways in which you can be successful. And I'm going to be bringing to you a topic today that if you can figure this out in regards to your marketing, your branding, and your sales, you are going to be crazy successful, very influential, and make as much money, frankly, as you want. Today, I'm going to talk about the storyline of a successful insurance agent. The storyline of a successful insurance agent. In other words, here's a little bit of the ABCs on what you need to do in order to be successful by drawing your prospect into the story of what you're trying to accomplish on their behalf. This comes down to prospecting and marketing and branding and how you actually promote yourself out on social media. What you say when you are in the appointment and then asking for that sale. The storyline of a successful insurance agent. And you know what? The storyline actually continues on every single day of the week. You know what day of the week it is today? It's Friday. Friday is an important day. Friday is the 5th day of the work week. There should not be anything different about Friday than there is about Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday. Get out there and hashtag do the work. Ask for the sale. Cold call. Email, social media, walk-in visit, go to networking events, do whatever you need to do, brainstorm so that you can actually put everything down into a strategic plan. Take control of your future. Man, that sounds weird, but it's so true. Take control of your future. You want to know how you can do that? With story. With story. Raise your hand, your virtual hand, if you like to read novels. Raise your hand if you like to watch videos. Raise your hand if you just love a good story. You ever listen to somebody who's just a very, very good storyteller, right? You're just watching them up on the stage, for example, and they're talking and they're bringing you through this particular story, and you can actually feel the breeze that they're talking about coming off of your cheeks. You can actually see the sunshine in the trees, and you can actually feel even the emotion of sometimes in which they're doing their actual story and they're bringing you into it. And so what I want to talk about today is the power of story and how you can use story in regards to your emails, how you can use story in your branding, your social media, your marketing, how you can use story even while you're sitting down in front of your prospect. Story is very important. And depending upon what the kind of insurance you actually sell, story might just become the very thing that you need to take you to the next level. You might be saying, well, what do you mean by that, Charles? Well, here's what I mean by that. Life insurance agents, for example, live and die by their stories. You know, life insurance is one of those things where people know that they need to have it, or businesses know they should probably have it, but they just don't really get around to actually getting it in place for one reason or another. Or they kind of, drag their feet, don't really get it done. It's something that people know they need to do. It's not really overly expensive. It is such wise thinking into the future, wise planning, but people don't do it. But you know what? A good life insurance agent is going to have two very good stories which are going to cause their prospect to do the things they want to do. This story deals with somebody who dies. The story deals with, for example, Jim. Jim was a great guy. Jim was a family man. He had a wife and 3 kids. And Jim was he was in his 40s, and he was continuing to go to his work every day. He was the major breadwinner for his family, just a really good guy, went to church, and was really out there helping people, a great neighbor, and was a part of the softball league and so forth. Just a really good guy. But, well, something happened, a car crash, and he died. He died, and unfortunately, Jim did not have life insurance. And so when he passed away, there was nothing there for his wife and for the kids, and they actually then struggled with a number of years of trying to just get back on their feet, and then the wife and the kids had to move in with her parents, and you know what? That is a story a story that explains to people why life insurance would be helpful. But then really that's kind of the negative side of it. That's the negative side of the story. The positive then is the other one that the life insurance ought to have. And it is the positive. Jim he's that guy. He's that family man, a wife and 3 kids, and he got into a car accident and he passed away. But he had a $1 million life insurance policy. And so as the insurance agent, I was able to actually go and, even meet with his grieving spouse and just the kids. And, after just talking to them, trying to console them, I was able to say and just remind them, remember, a few years back when Jim got that life insurance policy, I already went and I expedited it. I got it done. Here's the check for $1 million. I really hope this is going to help you and your family, in regards to your future and taking care of all the bills that ever come up. Which one of those is going to resonate with your prospect? I think actually both. I think both. Those are 2 real-world examples. Those are really what takes place on a day-to-day basis. The negative is going to cause them to realize what's going to happen if I don't take action. The second one is going to help them to realize what could happen, what's the benefit, what's the victory if I decide to take action. And it doesn't matter if you're a life insurance agent or you're selling personal lines or you're selling employee benefits or a normal property casualty business insurance. What comes down to it is that you have to bring your prospect into the story. Otherwise, you are white noise. You're just white noise in the background. You're just a buzzing in people's ears, and they're not really coming along with you in the story. You ever gone to a movie, for example? I know it's been a long time with regards to COVID. Or maybe watched a video and you're just kind of watching it and 5 minutes into it and 10 minutes into it and 15 minutes into it. You're like, I don't even know what the point is here. What exactly is the issue? Who's the bad guy? What's this person? Is this the protagonist? Is this the hero? Is this the person who's supposed to do something? And so you get bored and then you turn it off. You know what? That's what your prospects do as well if you don't bring them into the story. Now, you might say, well, Charles, I don't even really understand what you're saying. How do you bring your prospect into a story so that they'll do business with you? Well, I'm glad you asked. I am so glad you asked. There is a book. I'm going to grab it. I had to roll over to get it. It's called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. If you haven't actually read it, you better get that book. Building a Story Brand has a subtitle, Clarify Your Message So Customers Will Listen. Great book. I have read it 3 or 4 times. I'm talking about it now because I am in the middle of reading it again and just highlighting it. Just finished up even this last week reading another book that they recently put out called Marketing Made Simple. But the fact is, this Building a Story Brand is absolutely revolutionizing a lot of different businesses, frankly, a lot of different insurance agents, and I love it. I understand it. Because what he does is he is a very prolific, well-versed, I believe a New York Times bestselling author in the past, and he is now working with businesses to help them clarify their message, because if you confuse, you lose. And so he brings them into the actual part of putting their message into really kind of like story form, which brings the customer down an actual process so that they can be victorious in the end. I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt right now. You want to know why? Because I was going to talk about Star Wars. Luke Skywalker. You ever go back and watch some of those old episodes from the 1970s? Luke Skywalker, guy who he was kind of like a teenager who just really didn't know what he was going to do. He was living with his aunt and uncle. They die. Some bad people come and kill him, and then he has to flee. He ends up finding this guy, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan takes him under his wing, and they're kind of doing a few things here, and Obi-Wan starts talking to him about somebody that he knew, about even his father, starts talking to him about the Force and so forth, and starts training him. Well, eventually Obi-Wan Kenobi dies, and Luke is trying to become part of the Resistance. He's trying to help them. He's trying to overcome Darth Vader. He's trying to overcome these bad people who are out there. And he's questioning himself. He's not quite sure if he can do it. He's going back and forth. People are saying that he's young. People are saying that he's not qualified. He doesn't really know how to use the Force. Well, what's he going to do? What's going to happen? Is he going to win? Is he going to succeed? Is he going to fail? Well, he actually does. Towards the end of the movie, he's responsible for pushing the button, launching this bomb, and to destroy this enormous Death Star. And so he throws the bomb into there from his aircraft, and well, he misses. He was using all of his instruments, for example. He wasn't using the Force. He was just using things around him. And then he hears this voice, Obi-Wan, use the Force. Use the Force, Luke. Luke, use the Force. So he gives it another shot, takes off his helmet, turns off his instruments, and so forth. He's guided by the Force. He launches the bomb, destroys the enemy. He's victorious. So not only did he destroy the enemy, but he resolved a situation that he is worthy, that he is a Jedi, that he understands how to use the Force, that good is better than evil. And if you look at so many different movies out there, so many different novels and stories, the good ones tend to follow a lot of the same script. And the reason why I am spending time talking about this is because your sales process with your prospect should follow the same script as well. Should follow the same script as well. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, here's the thing. Let's talk about this. When it comes to some major aspects in the storyline of a successful insurance agent, in the same way in which Donald Miller starts talking about this in the book, he talks about the hero, there's a villain, there's a guide, and the hero has to go through a bunch of different things. So, for example, you as the insurance agent, you are not the hero of the story. You're not. The problem, though, is that we as insurance agents, we try to promote and market and brand ourselves as the hero. You know, what do I mean by that? Well, take a look at your brochures and your business card and really go to your website. What does it promote? Is there a big picture of your building there? Is there a big picture of your logo? Are you talking about we've been in business since 1947 and here's all of our people and these are the names of all of our insurance carriers and we're this and we're that and well, who's the hero here? Well, you're basically promoting yourself as the hero. The insured is trying to figure out how, one, to purchase insurance and to purchase it wisely, save themselves some time so at the end they can be victorious and have peace of mind. The insured, your prospect, is the hero. You are not. What are you? You are the guide. You, as an insurance producer, you get to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. You get to be Yoda. Look at so many different movies out there, so many different stories. Hunger Games, you are Haymitch. You're the one who helps Katniss overcome the evil people of Panem and win the Hunger Games and not actually die in the process. You are the actual person who gives them some things to do, a plan, a strategy. To follow it, you'll be victorious. And so when it comes to the storyline of a successful insurance agent, there is a hero. The hero is the insured, the policyholder, your prospect, and they have a problem. They have a problem. They're questioning themselves. They're questioning their relationship with the incumbent. They're questioning, do they even need cyber liability insurance? They're questioning, are these agents actually any good or not any good? They're questioning the premium. They're questioning, is this insurance carrier really the one who's going to be there to pay a claim if I ever have it? They have lots of different questions. They're questioning your integrity because you get paid a commission, and so they know necessarily that you're not really doing the best job for them because you lower their premium, and then thus you are lowering money out of your own pocket, your paycheck. And so they question it. They lack confidence. That's the hero. They've got problems. The external problem is they got to buy that insurance. They have to do that. They have to get it from somebody. But now really then they start really diving into the issue even more is, well, insurance is a necessary evil. Insurance agents are all the same. Insurance is a commodity. Or frankly, I really don't even think that I need insurance. I don't want to buy insurance. There's just lots of different problems going through their head. There's another issue then with regards to the hero who is the prospect. You have to remember that because they're dealing with a villain. Every hero in every story, book, whatever it is, movie, has a villain. There's a villain. Luke Skywalker's villain, for example, Darth Vader. Darth Vader was the villain, if you will. He had to overcome him. Even found out later, one of the movies, I am your father, right? Said that to Luke. I love it. I love that saying because I actually have a son named Luke, and every time I talk to him, well, not every time, but many times, Luke, I am your father. So I say it a lot. But there's a villain, and the villain in any movie story is trying to stop the hero from actually being successful. So what is the villain when it comes to the insurance process? What is the villain when it comes to your prospecting, your branding, your marketing? Well, I actually think that the villain in this whole process isn't you. It's not the insurance carrier. It's not the insured. It's the entire quoting process. I actually feel that the villain in the whole process here is the quoting, competitive bid situation. I do believe that is the villain. The insured hates it. They don't like it. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to overcome it. They don't know how to become victorious in it. Even when they're done, they question themselves. It is against them. The actual quoting process isn't in their best interest. It takes too much of their time. They start muddying the waters by the insurance carriers and underwriters getting multiple submissions. And so they don't end up getting maybe the best result from the carrier. Maybe a lot of underwriters might even decline it because there's multiple submissions where maybe they would have actually offered a quote if the insured would have known best to just deal with one insurance agent and have them go to that market. They just don't understand these things. And so there is a lack of understanding. There is a lack of clarity. They don't understand how this works. And so they don't know how to defeat the villain. That's where you come in. You're the guide. And so the hero has a problem. The villain is the entire quoting process. You as the guide show up, and what your responsibility to do in this whole process is to somehow be able to formulate a plan or a strategy so that the insured can actually see what they're supposed to do and that it will show them how to be victorious in the end. Now, there's a lot of other things that you as the guide, as the actual producer here, need to do in this process, but you need to remind them of the stakes. You have to remind them of the problem. You have to remind them that there is indeed a villain out there, that there are lots of different ways in which to mess this up. But if you, as the guide, can not only help them to see those problems, it is also part of your responsibility as the guide to let them see or understand what's going to happen if they don't actually follow through and do it. I mean, what if Luke, after Obi-Wan was talking about the Force and so forth, what if he just said, nah, I'm just going to go and get a house and a farm and I'm going to hide away and that's how I'm going to deal with this whole problem? Wow. Game over. Movie over. Boring. I'm going to press stop on that one, close the book, throw that one in the trash. That doesn't work. You have to provide an actual plan, and the hero has to decide to follow through on it. And so what you need to do as that guide, as the producer dealing with your prospect, you need to be able to highlight the problems. Problems with the villain, problems in the quoting process, problems with their policy, gaps in coverage, problems with the audit, problems with the lack of service, problems with the incumbent agent. All of these things is what your responsibility is to do with regards to the storyline of a successful insurance agent. You provide that plan. And I really do believe that plan needs to be written, strategic, and objective. It is your 12-month timeline of services. You provide your plan to the insured on what you're going to do for them on their behalf. That when they sign over their insurance to you by a broker of record letter, they're going to be able to see exactly what you're going to do starting with day one. Your timeline of services is going to show what you're going to do the remainder of the year, the policy term, so that you can provide them adequate services going forward. It needs to also show them a plan of attack that you put together to handle their entire renewal process. In other words, which carriers are they going to go to? What's your submission going to look like? How are you going to renegotiate or negotiate with the underwriters? When are you going to show up with quotes? All of these things come into play. Then actually implementing the services after the renewal and doing workers' compensation services and loss control and everything else that might go into it. That is your plan. The hero, the insured, needs to see it. They need to see how it will help them overcome the villain, the whole quoting process, because they want to be victorious in this. They do want to trust you as the guide. But there's a problem, because we're all human. And even the heroes and the guides and the villains and all of these stories tend to have problems. Sometimes we do the right thing. Sometimes we do the wrong thing. Sometimes we make the right choice, the wrong decision. Sometimes we struggle. Heroes struggle back and forth. Katniss made lots of wise choices and a bunch of foolish choices as well. Luke made different choices, and some worked out and some didn't. You have to remember that the hero is going to kind of go back and forth, going to struggle through this. Life is difficult. Times are hard. And the fact is that there's going to be other guides who are trying to come in and remove you as the main guide who has the permission, who has the trust. There could be lots of different people who might want to come into Luke Skywalker's life and say, Luke, I think you need to do this. Well, I mean, Han Solo could have been, a little bit of a quasi-guide that Luke Skywalker could have followed, and if he would have done that, probably would have died. Princess Leia probably could have said, Luke, I need you to do this, and I want you to go here and do this, and, there probably could have been lots of people that came into his life, but it was following the person that he trusted. And so with you, as a guide, there's going to be a lot of other guides. And as a prospecting producer, you also have to realize, well, the insured already has a guide. The insured already has a guide. How do you get that guide dethroned? Competitive dethronement is the thing in which you have to put into place, because you have to be able to explain and get the insured to realize that that guide that they have right now does not have their best interests at heart. The guide is in it for the money. The guide has commission breath. The guide is not really trying to help them overcome the villain. In fact, the guide is keeping them in the dark, not being transparent, not giving them options, not giving them alternatives, showing up last minute with a quote, not actually providing the services that they need to lower their experience modification factor. The guide may have promised a lot of things at the beginning, but never really followed through with all of the strategic plans and so forth, the services, once the policy was renewed. In order to get the business, the guide may have said a bunch of things, but once the policy was renewed, they haven't heard from that guide in the last 6 months. You see where I'm going with this? Do you see it? The storyline of a successful producer. You, as a new guide, have to come in and get the hero, the prospect, the insured, to realize that the guide they have right now can't take them to the next level, can't take them to the next step. They need a new coach. They need a new guide. They need a new plan. And the thing is that once you are showing the plan, the strategy to your prospect, it needs to be able to show them what the ROI is. In other words, what does victory look like? Well, victory for Luke is, destroy the bad guys, beat Darth Vader, let the resistance win, don't die. That's victory, right? You have to be able to show them how to do that and what it looks like. Unfortunately, most insurance producers don't actually do that. They never really talk about what victory looks like. They don't really show the insured, what is the ROI of this whole process. One of the things that I work with insurance agents is when, for example, we're trying to show the insured some of the services that we might provide, we have to be able to show the insured why we're doing this. What really is the expected or intended outcome, right? I mean, it's one thing to say, we're going to give you a whole bunch of claims management services, and we're going to be coming and we're going to do this and we're going to do that every month. We're going to be reaching out to your adjusters, and we're going to sit down with you for meetings every month to kind of go over this. Like, does that really sound like it is helpful to the insured? No, it sounds like they have a bunch of extra work to do now. What is the ROI? Well, the ROI is that we're going to be closing out your claims quicker, and that the reserves are going to be lowered, and that your workers' compensation is going to be lowered because of these things that we're doing. You're going to have less claims. You're going to have your better productivity from your employees and so forth, and try to actually be able to monitor that with some kind of an ROI so the insured can see it. We have to be able to define victory for the insured, the policyholder. What do they think victory is? Well, they just get through the policy renewal and they end up binding covers on a policy. Well, anybody can do that, but can you really give the insured the victory they want? That's really the process. That's the plan. That's the problem. Can you do that? It's the storyline of a successful insurance agent. I wonder, what kind of a story are you telling your prospects? Think about that for a moment. What does your email campaign say? What are the emails all about? Contact us, reply to this email, give you a quote. Is that really the story you want to be telling your prospect? That you're just a quoting factory? What does your website and your brochures actually say? Is it all about you? It's not about you. It's about them. It's not about the guide. Star Wars is not about Yoda. It's not about Obi-Wan. Hunger Games is not about Haymitch. They are people who are a part of that plan, but they are really not what the story is about. The story is about the hero. You need to make all of your prospecting, marketing, email, social media, all of that about the hero, how you can help the hero, helping the hero to understand and define the problem, give them a strategic plan in which to achieve victory, and then you can celebrate with them as the guide. If you can actually do that, pull your prospects into a story so that they can actually see what the process is and what kind of victory they're going to have at the end, I actually think that you will be crazy successful. You will make more money than you will know what to do with. You're going to have a lot of fun in the process. It just takes looking at things from a different perspective. The storyline of a successful insurance agent. Maybe that could be you. Maybe it is you. Maybe it's not you. The question is why? What are you going to do about it? No, seriously, it's Friday. What are you going to do about it? My name is Charles Specht. I am the president CEO of Permission Network, where I actually teach and help insurance agents to build a $1 million or more book of business. This is the Millionaire Insurance Producer Podcast.